watching the Justin Henry Show on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Make sure you follow on all social media platforms. So weather is very important this week. Most of the matchups have some element of like rain, cold, wind, but there's three really important matchups that you guys got to pay attention to. The first one is going to be Thursday night's game, the Jets in Jacksonville. There is rain expected for this game, a lot of wind expected for this game as well. So when it comes to your options like Zach Wilson, Garrett Wilson, Garrett Wilson is not a bench, but he is a temper your expectations. He's probably going to be more wide receiver 3 or flexish. So what does that mean for your team? If you have another option that's pretty comparable to Garrett Wilson, I've been throwing Garrett Wilson out there a lot in recommendations for start. This week it'd be the other player, right? So if you got a questionable decision, that's going to let you know Garrett Wilson is probably not the person you want to start in that instance. Another player, so this is also going to be a heavy run game for the Jets now, right? So you're talking about Michael Carter, potentially some Bam Knight there. It's just you're going to want to stick to the run game options for this Thursday night football game unless something changes with the weather. And I'll talk about that on Thursday when I'm live if anything happens. But right now, as expected, the weather should be a very high. The total's sitting at 37.5. So the weather is going to be a factor. Same thing goes for Jacksonville side of the ball. That's Evan Ingram. Zay Jones is probably not a start this week. Christian Kirk, probably a little bit more of a flex option than a wide receiver 3. Evan Ingram is probably more of a back-end tight end 1. You have to start him at this point, but we will be seeing, like Travis Etienne, you guys been waiting on him. This might be a game for him. Tough Jets defense, but Travis Etienne should see some work this game. So I expect him and JaMycal Hasty to get work. JaMycal Hasty is nowhere near a recommended start. And I can see Trevor Lawrence using his legs a little bit more in this game as well. So just temper your expectations when it comes to the passing for both teams. But for this Jacksonville, New York game, should be run focused. Buffalo, Chicago, another game that will have some snow. The wind is expected to be 10 to 15 miles an hour, which is manageable, especially for strong-arm quarterbacks like Josh Allen, like Justin Fields. They should be able to throw through it, but you want to temper your expectations. Both of these teams will still stick to the run. So David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert, very tough matchup against Buffalo, but we'll see work, right? So David Montgomery, if he gets a score, it's good. They're going to see some work in the run game and probably in the short passing game. Same thing goes for the Bills side of the ball. James Cook, Devin Singletary, both of these guys are going to see a lot of carries. So it'll be hard to trust the passing game, though. So guys like Gabe Davis in this matchup, even, if Claypool somehow makes it back on the field, Cole Kmet is even a risky start this week. So the Bears don't pass that much. The Bills do. But I'd only really be looking at Dawson Knox and Stephon Diggs as startable out of these passing game options. No Isaiah McKenzie, no Gabe Davis, Dawson Knox and Stephon Diggs. That's probably it. Josh Allen, you have to fire up. Justin Fields, you have to fire up. So Justin Fields, we should see a lot more running, a higher floor. Josh Allen, we'll see probably some rushing like we did last week against Miami. And yeah, with Diggs, it's just a little bit lesser of a performance. We won't see that 20 to 25 point Stephon Diggs performance. And the worst weather game of the week, the worst one. Total sitting at 31 points right now. Cleveland Browns and New Orleans Saints. In Cleveland, up to 40 to 45 mile an hour winds expected for this game. There will not be a lot of throwing this game. Should be a lot of running. So you got Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. They're both startable this week. Kareem Hunt more so in 14 league plus. Nick Chubb is a must fire up this week. And then on the Saints side of the ball, you're getting Alvin Kamara in your lineups and potentially Taysom Hill as a tight end option. I want to stray away from recommending it because if he doesn't get the touchdown, he can significantly hurt your chances at winning. But I could see Taysom Hill being used on short yardage. They don't really have another back that they trust right now. Taysom Hill could be their short yardage guy. In a game, they're going to have to stick to the ground. So staying away from all pass catching options. Chris Olave is a bench this week. Rashid Shaheed is a bench this week. And then on the other side of the ball for Cleveland, DPJ is a deep flex at best. Amari Cooper, deep flex at best. Staying away, David Njoku is probably, you have to start David Njoku at this point. I would try to fade away from starting him, but you probably have to at this point. Deshaun Watson is absolutely a no start this week in Cleveland. So Andy Dalton as well. Like, you're not starting either quarterback from this game. The defenses, fire them up. Cleveland defense is probably going to be a top 5 defense if it's not just for the low scoring, right? Like just for the low scoring aspect. So they don't get a lot of sacks, and they don't turn the ball over a whole lot, but Cleveland defense is worth a look too.